According to the ancients, Venus really likes to be in the sign of Cancer. It is here that she's able to live from heart that much more readily. Cancer is the sign of care, what we care about, whom we care about, why we care. And very often it just comes down to because we do, because we feel it. But there's something else about care, just simply bringing that genuine sense. Well, there's something that connects us to beauty about it as well. In fact, it is the genuineness, the open-heartedness of actually acknowledging that there are things we care about. Well, that can be one of the most beautiful ways in which we might move through the world. And Venus in the sign of Cancer has a way of reminding us of that. That beauty isn't about the performance. As much as some people like myself might absolutely love glam, if you've watched me for a while, you know I do, that isn't about beauty. That is about play. Beauty is found within, in the heart, in the spirit, in the soul, and in our emotions. Whenever it is that we are willing to listen to our emotions, honor them, learn from them, and help them to evolve so that we're having the kind of reactions that we feel allow us to feel good about ourselves, allow us to affirm a healthy sense of self-respect, that's when we're on the right track with cultivating the type of beauty that stays and that grows, that magnifies, and truly has the potential to spread beauty everywhere we go. It is also something about allowing ourselves to feel that represents radical acceptance. Love is ultimately a revolutionary force. It was, metaphorically speaking, Uranus, the god representing revolution and erraticness and freedom itself, that was the father of Venus in a sense. And that says something about where Venus comes from. Her very nature can be erratic. Her very nature can be changeable. But her very nature is one that if we honor it, if we go with love, if we cultivate real, meaningful beauty, we just might find freedom within it. Because then it isn't about anyone else's expectations, but rather it is about us knowing that we are living from a place of emotion. And the genuineness of that radiates forward. It gives other people permission as well to feel what they do and to find healthy ways to express it. And along the way, we learn about ourselves and we find things within that we feel genuinely proud of. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of July 27, 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. September programs are launching as we speak. This is so exciting. And yes, $5 a class for a limited time. We choose your tuition rate. However, there are even more early bird specials happening right now over at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links below. Wednesday in the Americas and Thursday in the rest of the world, Venus will change signs, moving into the sign of Cancer. And the larger transit is amazing, especially considering that 2 weeks from now, Venus will meet Jupiter in the sky, and that makes for the most romantic day of the year. So Jupiter already in the sign of Cancer, a sign that Jupiter really likes to be in. And now here comes Venus. According to the ancients, Jupiter was conceptualized as the higher benefic, the higher blessing, and Venus was the lower benefic, a blessing nonetheless. The two great benefics are both in the same area of the sky, in the sign of Cancer, which means both benefics will be speaking to one area of life for each of us out there. But it is this very profound energy of setting the stage for big blessings, big breakthroughs that first might not feel that way. And that is because as soon as Venus enters the sign of Cancer, she will immediately set up conversations of tension, squares with Saturn and Neptune, but also a quincunx with Pluto. And these aspects are happening back to back over the course of Friday and Saturday. That's how tightly knit they are together, which means that they are ultimately happening simultaneously. And so the energy of Saturn is one of restriction. It's one of feeling held back, feeling limited in some way. But really what Saturn asks and what Saturn wants is for us to make choices that are rooted in self-respect, for us to keep promises to ourselves so that we earn and fortify our own self-respect. And where it is that we are approaching any area of life with maturity, well, it is there that we might also find grace. It is Venus square Saturn. It's a square. It can feel tough. It can feel frustrating as well. On a very immediate level, this might be a reality check moment for a lot of us out there where it comes to love, where it comes to beauty and the limits of pursuing it, where it comes to money, and where it comes to pleasure as well. But it is also almost simultaneously that Venus is going to square Neptune. And this is energy of some disillusionment, maybe even disappointment as well. And allowing ourselves to feel it, allowing ourselves to accept certain losses, but also to be aware of where it is that perhaps we can put in more time, put in more effort, and actually do the work that change sometimes requires, especially if it is that we hope that change will lead us in a direction of greater inspiration, a greater mystical connection, if you will. Now that mystical connection, especially in the context of love and money, it might feel hard to find at first as we approach the end of the week with Venus newly in the sign of Cancer. However, it won't be that long before we actually are in a space that feels a lot easier to magnify these very attributes. Now these squares are followed closely by the quincunx that Pluto will be making with Venus under the sky. Now, the quincunx is an interesting vibration. It's one sign off of an opposition. And how it tends to be experienced is that the energy might show up by surprise, or at least the need to integrate these two different energies, the planets involved in the quincunx. That comes up by surprise. But it is also possible to resolve the energy very quickly as well. While it might feel challenging in a moment, especially because Pluto is involved, that could involve an unexpected power struggle or power game. We also understand how to neutralize the energy very quickly in a way that helps us as well. Now, what is it that we are willing to do for love, right? This is something that I think philosophers have asked. There's lots and lots of songs out there talking about that as well. What is it that we are willing to do for love? Well, there are certain ways in which love invites us to understand ourselves in a way that might be challenging, but still feels healthy, still feels loving. And that is the case. There's going to be challenges with just about any relationship we have at times, but there is a difference between it feeling healthy and it feeling not healthy. There is a difference between challenges that are rooted in love and those that are rooted more in power or games or trying to feel as if we are gaining something by someone else losing something, whether it's losing power, losing control, losing a sense of self-agency, self-respect. The quincunx of Pluto and Venus is likely to ask us, which is it for us, whether past or present situation. Mercury is retrograde right now, which means in key ways, many of us are being reflective, are looking at the past, are understanding it with greater depth and nuance at this time. But it is this quincunx that just might invite a surprise moment where we look at perhaps how fraught or how many layers there actually are, including layers that maybe might not be so benevolent, might not be so pure, where it comes to our desires, whether that is in love, or money or pleasure or more. I opened by saying that the father of Venus is Uranus. So let me very quickly remind you of that story. I have that story in one of my books called Prayers to the Sky as well. And I know if you've watched me for a while, I've talked about this. I mean, I think it's just so remarkable to contemplate this story. And what it comes down to is the origin story, the creation story of the universe according to the ancient Greeks. So according to the ancient Greeks, in the beginning, there was a void, and out of void came chaos, and out of chaos birthed Gaia, the earth, and she was whole and complete in and of herself, fertile and alive. But Gaia got bored, and she really wanted a partner. And so out of her own body, out of the earth, came forward Uranus. And Uranus was to be her husband, and with Uranus she had many children, but Uranus was kind of a cad. He wasn't a very good husband. He was erratic. He wasn't very faithful, that's for sure. And there came a point when Gaia had enough of it. She was like, oh my God, I can't believe everything I went through for this dude. I don't want him anymore. So she starts going to her kids and saying, can you help me get rid of your dad? Because your dad is just not doing it for me anymore. This isn't working out. And all of her children said no, except for Saturn. Saturn said, okay, he'll help his mom. His mom said, you are going to have all the power. You're going to be the greatest, the highest of the gods. You're going to replace your dad. It's going to be awesome. So while Uranus was sleeping, Saturn went to Uranus with a sickle and removed his and took them and threw them into the ocean. As soon as they hit the ocean and started going down, this foam began to arise. From that foam came a seashell, and from that seashell came Venus. This is why we say that Uranus is a type of father to Venus. Because if it were not for the very erratic nature of Uranus and how in some ways he kind of set the stage for his son to do what his son was going to do, well, there would be no Venus. Without freedom, there really isn't love, and Uranus represents freedom. Without a willingness to not control things, there would be no love, because very often it can feel as if love has a will of its own. And where it is that love is pure, well, very often it also comes with an understanding that they are layers. And some of those layers might arise at times from pain, but we can use those painful layers to become more loving and to align ourselves with greater love ourselves as part of our own journey. Whenever we look at the ancients, we like to look at their lineage because it tells us something about the different archetypes that comprise them. And for Venus, we are looking at Uranus, and we're looking at water itself, the sea itself. So what does water represent? Emotion. Think about the water signs: Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. These are the signs known to be especially emotional. But it is in emotions that love is found. It's in emotions that complexity is found as well. And our own emotions sometimes feel like they betray us. They sometimes feel as if we wish we weren't feeling what we do. We wish it wasn't as it is, whatever our journey towards love feels like in a given moment. And that's especially true for romantic love, because sometimes it can feel as if through allowing and connecting with someone romantically, we just might give up something. We might lose power. But the thing is that all of life often asks us for some give and take. It says, if you're willing to give something, you just might get something as well. And sometimes we evaluate that what we get is more meaningful to us at a particular point in our life than what it is that we might give. And so we have here Venus making key connections now that are going to feel challenging, and they may be downright disappointing. As I said, Venus and Saturn, reality check moment. Reality and love don't always feel like they go together, because love happens in the imagination. Love happens in absence. When two people are together, it isn't about love necessarily. We might tell ourselves it is, but what it comes down to is compatibility and friendship. That's what allows love to last and become a long-term relationship. It's that ability to relate that isn't necessarily about the erraticness of romantic love necessarily. It is the square of Saturn that's going to invite us to be honest with ourselves about this journey, about our deeper understanding, and honest with ourselves of where it is that we have thought of the rush, of the erraticness of desire as love, when really that might not be it at all. It might be that we're identifying love all wrong. And the fact that we get the square of Venus to Neptune, well, it tends to be an energy that is disillusioning and disappointing. But why does that happen? It happens when we get too lost in imagination. When we think that imagination is what love is, we can only keep it up so long. Eventually, we do have to know the other to see if there's something here. And it is also by being known by another that we understand whether or not there could be love here as well. As much as we have a sense of wanting love, we have a need to give love as well. And it is this balance of give and take that shows us something about the reality of another person, the reality of what we feel and why. And sometimes it has a lot to do with them, and sometimes it really doesn't. The love that happens in the imagination really doesn't have a whole lot to do with someone else. But the friendship that can result, the companionship that can grow from there, that can help two people to really cultivate a more meaningful connection that allows a deeper love to thrive that much more and to continue and grow stronger as time goes forward. Now, where are we in that journey with another? Or where were we in that journey and then that journey didn't work out, or that journey fell apart? Well, I think a lot of us are going to be contemplating and considering this. And the things that have frustrated us in others, where is it about us? Where is it about the fact that we expected love to be the fantasy when it could never be that? And where is it now that we stand in our understanding of what we are actually wanting on a level of companionship? And where we have it, yeah, there still might be frustrations, but there's enough of a connection to keep the connection itself growing. Now, the connection to Pluto, though, that can be feelings of unfairness. That can be power struggle, power games. The right relationships, they encourage the power in each other, right? They celebrate each other, the people involved in that relationship. However, where relationships become a power struggle or a power game even as well, is it even love anymore? That might be part of the consideration. I'm going to tell you something about just how big a nerd I am and how my friends are nerds as well, especially those who are close to me. My dear friend Rosa, just earlier today, she sends me this reading of Jacques Lacan. So Jacques Lacan was a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and he built on some of Freud's ideas, but he certainly made them his own as well. He is incredibly influential where it comes to not only understanding psychology, but also its connection to philosophy in many ways as well. It was Lacan that built on this idea that Freud first explored about the connection between love and hate. And it was Lacan who said that it is love and hate that do in many ways go together, because it is in the other that we seek a reflection. And we seek a reflection of acceptance, of adoration. However, when a person is unable to give that, or unwilling to give that, no matter what might have been before, that in and of itself can foster a sense of hate for that person as well. I think that it is also about how much that person is able to match what was initially in the imagination of the other and how invested we were in the imaginative other. And now, as we're seeing the reality, the nitty gritty, the messy human being that actually exists and not the fantasy we had built up in our mind, that disconnect for some people can be part of that sense of love and hate and how they are essentially, according to Lacan, connected. We look at another as a reflection so that we can feel good about ourselves. But when we do that, it also means that when we don't get that, when we are rejected by the other, well, we take it that much more personally. But real love is able to be found, in my opinion, when it is that there is mutual respect found in friendship and companionship. That is where care actually is. Now, where are you on that spectrum? Where are you in that journey of understanding yourself in relation to another, whether that is an imaginative self, whether that is some person in the past that maybe you were connected with and the experiences you had with them? And I think a lot of this isn't just about the aspects that Venus is making, but it's also about the sun meeting a retrograde Mercury in Leo, because Leo is the energy of heart. It is the energy that invites us to connect that much more deeply to some voice within ourselves, some sense of what love is for us from our experience. Libra is an energy of sharing, of the give and take, the back and forth. Scorpio, the other love house or love sign, is associated with intimacy, with vulnerability, with a depth of connection with another. The energy of Leo is distinct as it has a natural correspondence to the 5th house, which is all about our own experience in love. It doesn't have to do with anybody else. And it is traditionally considered a house of recreation, the 5th house. And it is Leo that aligns us with recreational pursuits. But in modern astrology, we consider dating as part of these very things, having to do with the lightness and the feelings we might have as we are flirting, as we are courting, as we are being courted by another. It's the joy of courtship itself that is what awakens in the energy of Leo. But it really is about understanding what you are feeling, not necessarily another. And that's why I think the sun meeting a retrograde Mercury is going to invite us to go to deeper levels of understanding what we are really wanting and why. And especially in the context of what we love, romantically or otherwise, whether it's an activity, whether it's things about ourselves, what is it that we feel confident in? That is ultimately a type of love we give to ourselves as well. Well, all of that just might be highlighted in the middle of the week when we get that connection of the sun and a retrograde Mercury. One thing's for sure though, that conjunction is a moment of illumination. What is the heart really wanting? How close are you to getting it? How far do you feel from it? Where is it that certain people or situations can help you to align with it that much more? Or where is it that it just isn't going to be found where it is you really hoped it would? And that brings us to Mercury retrograde. Mercury is retrograde right now. Not the time to make big life-changing decisions or to take up commitments that are hard to get out of in any way. And given that Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Leo, just when we think we know what we really want in our heart of hearts, in every area of life, just when we think we know what's going to make us happy, what's going to bring us joy, just when we think we know what's going to be fulfilling creatively and otherwise, well, all of that might look very different once it is that Mercury goes direct. Now that is happening the 11th of August. And it is also that same week, the 12th of August, that we are going to have Venus meeting Jupiter, the most romantic day of the year. And I think that is going to be the time when Mercury direct and Venus meeting Jupiter in the sky, that what feels so, on the one hand, certain, but also might have some of us feeling a little distraught. I'm so sorry to say it does happen. But it is Venus that's going to be square Saturn, square Neptune, quincunx Pluto. These are not easy energies. And yet, whatever's happening now, we just might identify it as a great blessing just 2 weeks down the road. We just might see what's happening this week very differently once we start to navigate towards the middle of August, which is right around the corner. We start August this week. It is a brand new month, and August is huge energy. We get mighty close to the near Star of David that is really part of this transition into a whole new world. I know I've been saying this to you for years now, since 2017. The world we start the 2020s with and the world we end the 2020s with will be a very different world. And a big part of the transition, what allows that change to happen, is this larger near Star of David configuration. And I know I'm going to remind you of it again and again because I have been for years. But yeah, this month we glimpse it. We get so close to exact. August is huge. And the fact that on the same month, we have the most romantic day of the year, which might not just be romantic love. It might be love for ourselves, love for the journey, love for heart, love for humanity, love for each other. Wouldn't that be an amazing way for love to show up? That could be a very powerful way for love to show up. Let me give you an example that I really liked. It happened earlier today, and I thought, oh my God, this is so the astrology of this week. Lessons in love and freedom, and how we give what it is that ultimately will delight us in the giving. Guillermo del Toro has made this beautiful movie about Pinocchio. Now, it's widely considered a movie that is not for children because it does show some adult themes within it. As part of this story, and I won't give away too many spoilers, but there is a grasshopper. And this grasshopper ends up being a really important part of the story. At the end of the movie, I cried and I cried. It was just so beautiful. And the grasshopper was a part of what made it so beautiful. So I often think of grasshoppers as representing wisdom and the voice of the heart and a deeper understanding, and especially because they blend in with and are so connected to nature. And I am having the unusual experience of being very connected to nature as of late, because I am in the Galapagos, which is all about connecting to nature. But I am a very big city girl, so I'm taking this experience as a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing, but life is filled with lots of once-in-a-lifetime kinds of things, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to being back in the big cities very soon, in the next few hours from the time that I'm recording this. Having said that, grasshoppers have been getting inside of my Airbnb. And so the first grasshopper got inside, didn't make it, unfortunately. Not my doing. You know, I left doors open trying to get the grasshopper to leave. But a few days later, I found the grasshopper and I was very sad about that. Fast forward, another grasshopper makes its way into the Airbnb. And this grasshopper sort of perched himself on the top of some curtains. And I was a little worried about the grasshopper jumping on me. I felt a little nervous about that. And I could tell that the grasshopper was watching me, right? He's trying to hide his body within the folds of the curtains, but really is watching me, paying attention. And when I went to sleep, I thought, okay, this grasshopper will move around. He'll find his way maybe to a window. When I get up, I'll open the window. He'll be okay. But when I woke up hours later, the grasshopper was still there at the top of the curtains. And that's when I realized he's scared. Like really, he's not able to move because he's scared, because he doesn't know what it is I'm going to do. And I've been trying to talk to this grasshopper, telling him that he's free, he can go. So then I decide to shake the curtains, right, to try and get him to fly out. And then he disappears. I figured he's flown out. 2 days later, earlier today, I see the grasshopper again. This time the grasshopper is actually in the bedroom walking on the headboard. And I'm like, wow, you're still here? Aren't you miserable? I mean, your whole world is out there and you're stuck in this Airbnb with me. You can't be happy about that. So I decided to try and help the grasshopper to get out into the world. And first I sort of threw a gentle sheet, not a huge bed sheet or anything like that, but it was a cloth. I threw it in its direction to try to get it to sprint. And it just flew a little bit in the room, but then fell on the floor. So then I took the cloth, I gathered gently this grasshopper, and then I shook the cloth outside of an open window, and I saw that grasshopper just take off, flying. It's one of the flying ones, right? Flying high. And I'll tell you, the love I felt, the elation I felt, the way in which I was led to contemplate so many things about nature, about truth. And I thought to myself, wow, it just might be for this that I made my way to Galapagos, to have this experience. As fun as it has been to swim with sea lions, that's been a whole lot of fun. Take pictures with sea lions. We're just sleeping in the middle of the road on a bench without a care in the world, people walking by, taking pictures, laughing, circling. They do not care. They know that they are safe. They are very confident here in Galapagos. The sea lions are. Really, it was to understand, to connect to that feeling, that elation of knowing that I was part of another being free, experiencing that elation. And I'll tell you, I swear, I felt the freedom. And I thought about that in the context of this video, and I thought about how this really is about freedom and love being intimately connected. That's really what it comes down to. Because it is in rejoicing in the freedom of another that we experience love that much more. And this takes us back to, well, some philosophical ideas around love. I forget who it was who said it, but I remember taking a class way back in the day as an undergrad on the philosophy of love. And I remember coming across the idea that we want to have somebody who, on the one hand, freely chooses us, wants to be with us, but also simultaneously is enraptured by us, as if there was some higher spirit calling them towards us and having them want to be with us as a result of that higher spirit. And it's that contradiction that is at play where it comes to how much of another's affection we will accept, or how strong we feel another's love is. It's that constant tension between, did this person consciously choose me because they wanted me? And also, is this divine? Is this karmic? Is it that our souls were meant to be here in this moment and we really didn't have a choice in the matter, but it was going to be? That tension, I would say, is part of passion, is part of questioning. But love itself is in the giving. It is in the soaring of another when we rejoice that we experience love. And I think that just might be a divine lesson for a lot of us out there, whether we find that love in family, in friends, or in romantic love, and all the other ways in which we might experience love as we move through the world. Because I will tell you, the world is filled with love. That's one of my favorite things when I travel, is to feel and to know how full of love the world is. How people really want to feel connected. They want to feel useful. They want to feel awakened. They want to feel like they are inspired, whether it's by others. They want to feel understood. I've seen the power of that in small moments, and I've seen the look of healing on other people's faces when I've seen one person convey to the other that they understand something about their experience. It is a powerful thing that we give others. Now imagine how powerful it would be if we allowed ourselves to give it to ourselves. Well, we just make it that much more likely that we would experience the kind of love we really do desire in the world. It starts with ourselves. That's why so many spiritual teachers say love starts from within. We give what we have, and we can accept ourselves. We can get to a place where just being gentle with ourselves allows us to be in a space of love that much more readily and that much more abundantly as well. What I love about this week for us, there's so much here. It is a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. Well, I am going to say I love Venus changing signs. I know it doesn't start off strong, but it starts off in a way that actually is necessary. And however it starts off, we just might understand these first days of Venus in the sign of Cancer differently once we navigate just a little bit later. The 12th of August is the most romantic day of the year. The 11th of August is when Mercury goes direct in the sign of Leo, a heart-oriented part of the sky. The sign of Cancer is about a love that feels like family. Now that type of feeling can find us in all kinds of types of relationships. But yeah, that sense of really being comfortable with another, that is the crux of it, where it comes to the love we experience with Venus in Cancer, or at least it's the love that we're going for. Let it start within yourself. Feel comfortable within yourself, feeling as if you can rest easy in your own body, in your own skin, makes it that much more likely that you'll find that same sense, that same state of being out there in the world. And I just realized that I didn't turn on the mic. Talk about Mercury retrograde. So backup audio, I hope it works out well. Thank you so much for watching. I am truly so grateful for it. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here's some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares, who thumbs up. All of it means so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. And of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week for as low as just $3 a month, with choose your membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University is in the works, launching brand new programs. We have been launching brand new programs. I'm super excited about the announcements coming up this week, but also what I have to share with you today. And I'm going to start with my own class. This is highly requested Past Lives Part 2. Now, I know it might say on the graphic advanced techniques, but it's actually, I would say, intermediate techniques. It builds on the last class that I did, which was a lot more beginner techniques. And actually, right now, you can get both as part of a package, and you get an additional discount, so that classes work out to be like even less than $5 a class, if you can believe it. So you can head on over to Synchronicity University. Like I said, past lives is what we're going to be talking about and exploring the chart from that perspective. Now, this is actually one of these passions of mine. I love to look at the chart from the perspective of understanding it from that past lives perspective. And so we'll be talking about Neptune and the 8th house, and more on the 12th house, and so much more. So you can learn a lot more about this class, and check out the link below and sign up for a limited time as low as just $5 a class. And right now, this week only till the end of July, we do have early bird specials taking place. You get even more of a discount. Synchronicity University, making quality astrological education available to the masses. I hope you love it. Now, I also want to add, I am right now in the process of teaching Glitz Glam Astrology, and this is all about timing, beauty, and the class is in the middle. Next week, or rather this coming week, am going to be teaching the beginning of timing techniques. So I know a lot of people are interested in that. And if you are like me, if you like glam, or even if you don't, this could be a fun class for you to enjoy. And it's available as a single class right now over at synchronicityuniversity.com. You can learn more and sign up for it. Synchronicity University is proud to present a brand new speaker series that is going to be presented this September 2025 only at synchronicityuniversity.com. You've got a limited time left to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class. I'm so excited to talk about these amazing astrologers with you. We have a brand new lineup, and some of these people are very, very near and dear to me, so I'm excited to talk to you about them. I'm going to start with Hannah Tanahura. Now, Hannah is actually part of the event that I am doing with legendary astrologers like Maurice Fernandez, Lynn Bell, Ann Ortili over at the Omega Institute in upstate New York, Rhinebeck, just outside New York City. You can join us, and it's coming up really soon, actually. It's going to be the first week of October that this amazing event is going to take place. I'll talk about that just a little bit later, but let me tell you, Hannah is amazing. I've loved getting to know her. She is brilliant. She is very much a rising star, and she is nurturing a strong online presence. She is absolutely someone to be on the lookout for. And Hannah will be teaching on unlocking Juno in your chart. Unlocking Juno. I think that's very exciting to learn more about the asteroid Juno. She was the wife of Jupiter, and she wasn't very happy all the time, but her asteroid does represent marriage and so much more. Well, Hannah's going to talk to you about all of that and more. Alejandro Luis is bringing medieval Islamic astrology to Synchronicity University and helping us to understand the soul from many different angles, especially these traditional astrologers rooted in that tradition. The Arab astrologers were such a big part of helping astrology transition between the ancient world and into the Renaissance. They made a huge contribution back in the day. And I love that he's so passionate about their techniques and their interpretations. And he's going to be bringing that, helping us to understand all these different layers and levels of soul and what just might come forward for you as you explore your astrological chart using some of those techniques. Dr. Patricia Bell, she is very near and dear to me. She is someone that I have done events with before. I've known her for so many years. She's brilliant. She's a medium, and she's written books about it, and she's done programs over at Lilydale, which is this really historical, magical place to be. And I presented there previously years ago. She was the one who hosted me there. So she's just a wonderful being to be around. Again, so loving, so generous, incredible soul. Patricia is going to present a talk called When the Heart Speaks, and it really is about courage. It's about identifying courage in the chart, your own unique brand of courage, and how you might maximize it and bring it forward as a voice that arises from heart, and she's the perfect person to teach it. Now, I don't normally play favorites with my teachers, but Humaira Haider is going to be my favorite because she is my aunt. She's my other aunt, besides Shireen, that you already know from my channel. Humaira is a numerologist, and you might not have known that, but yes, my family loves all of this stuff, loves learning about it, loves practicing it, and it goes way back many, many generations. We've been doing this. And so I'm so excited to celebrate my aunt with you, to talk to her with an interview with you, and also to have her present a class. She's going to help you to understand numerology, how to tap into it to your advantage, and so much more. I love her so much, but I also benefit from her wisdom so much for so many years. How exciting to have her at Synchronicity University. Shu Yap is someone who is so respected in the astrology community. I've heard her name for so long. It is so nice for her to be now coming to Synchronicity University. She's going to help us to understand the techniques of Fradaria. Now, this is a type of Persian astrology technique, And I'm sensing a theme here, right? But I love that she's going to bring this perspective, help you to learn these brand new techniques with really ancient roots and really help expand your practice. Now, Ferdaria can get really detailed. It's very strong where it comes to prediction, understanding when certain people are going to show up, certain opportunities are going to be there, how to tap into them, what strategies to use, and so much more. So it is a predictive technique, but a very valuable technique as well, rooted in ancient Persian astrology. And I'm so happy she's coming to Synchronicity University. So you can see here, we've got incredible teachers who are going to be joining us. I'm so excited about this group. And this is the September 2025 speaker series. You've got a limited time to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class. And like I said, even though more classes are going to be launched before the month is out, it's only until the end of July that we actually have early bird specials going on where you get even more discounts. So you can sign up for my class, sign up for the speaker series, and so much more. I'm so excited to share Synchronicity University with you with these amazing September programs. And consultations are now available with me and Andy of Wise Ass Astrology over on my website, nadiyashah.com/consultations. You can check out the link in the description below. It's an entirely automated process. It's wonderful. You go on, you choose who you want a reading with, and from there, you are directed to our calendars. And from there, you get to see the availability, choose which one you like, and you fill out a form, and you make payment, and you will automatically be sent a Zoom link for you being scheduled at the exact time that you chose. Now, I know Andy has some availability. I have just a couple of spots left in August. I think there are 2 spots left in August right now. And so head on over to my website, check that out. And it would be such a privilege to read your chart, whether with me or with Andy. You'd be very welcome to do that. And I know Andy and I both, in our own individual journeys, certainly consider that a privilege. So thank you. Again, that link is below at nadiyashah.com/consultations. Now, I mentioned earlier the Omega Institute. Yes, we have a program coming up. I will be there with Maurice Fernandez, with Lynn Bell, with Ann Artili, with Hannah that you met just a little earlier. And this is the first weekend of October that this is going to be taking place at the very special Omega Institute. Now, the Omega Institute, actually, I have a very special relationship with because it was way back. We're talking 21 years ago, almost to the day 21 years ago, that I went there for a weekend program. And my life really changed after that, like completely changed. It was a very powerful and deeply meaningful experience for me. And so the fact that I get to be there and be part of that for other people, it just means so much to me. So thank you to Maurice for inviting me and to Omega Institute and so much more. So please learn more about that program. We're going to be honoring the goddess within. And it's a really rich and immersive weekend experience. I hope you absolutely love it. If you're anywhere in the area, please consider joining us. We would love to have you. So the link for the Omega Institute is below. Andy and me are live in Toronto in like 1 month's time, the 26th of August. It is a Tuesday. It is an evening event that is going to be taking place in downtown Toronto. And yeah, it's all about getting ready for the great sextile. That's what we are going to be focusing on. Andy is going to be teaching on Saturn and Neptune in Aries. He's doing a half-hour presentation. I'm doing a presentation that'll be at least an hour, and it'll be on Chiron and Taurus and how I actually think that's going to be a saving grace kind of energy, incredibly important. And some surprises might be there as well. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Now, everybody who joins us does get a swag bag, small gifts that I hope you love. And I will be there with books and you'll get them at a discount, and I'll sign them to you in person, and you get hugs. You get hugs with me and with Andy, and you would be very welcome to get a hug from us. And it is very limited seating. We've sold quite a few tickets already. I think we're like 30 or 35% sold out right now. So this is going to be an event that fills up because the space itself is small. And so we are limiting how many people can sign up. And the early bird rate is on right now. So if you are so inspired, if you're anywhere near Toronto, Canada, please join us at my hometown. I'm super excited to be hosting Andy as well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be lively. And my hope is that it ends up being one of these things that really helps you to feel like, okay, you understand the energies now and what's coming up that much more. So friends, fans, superstars, students, novices, experts, all of you, every single one of you is very welcome in downtown Toronto to hang out with me and with Andy. And you can learn a lot more about that over on my website, nadiyashah.com/Toronto, and check out the link below. And thank you. Thank you so much for this moment with you. Thank you for your trust. I'm so grateful for it. Stay tuned now for short horoscopes coming up, looking at Venus in Cancer for your sign. And thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. According to the ancients, Venus really likes to be in the sign of Cancer. It is here that she's able to live from heart that much more readily. Cancer is the sign of care, what we care about, whom we care about, why we care. And very often it just comes down to because we do, because we feel it. But there's something else about care, just simply bringing that genuine sense. Well, there's something that connects us to beauty about it as well. In fact, it is the genuineness, the open-heartedness of actually acknowledging that there are things we care about. Well, that can be one of the most beautiful ways in which we might move through the world. And Venus in the sign of Cancer has a way of reminding us of that. That beauty isn't about the performance. As much as some people like myself might absolutely love glam, if you've watched me for a while, you know I do, that isn't about beauty. That is about play. Beauty is found within, in the heart, in the spirit, in the soul, and in our emotions. Whenever it is that we are willing to listen to our emotions, honor them, learn from them, and help them to evolve so that we're having the kind of reactions that we feel allow us to feel good about ourselves, allow us to affirm a healthy sense of self-respect, that's when we're on the right track with cultivating the type of beauty that stays and that grows, that magnifies, and truly has the potential to spread beauty everywhere we go. It is also something about allowing ourselves to feel that represents radical acceptance. Love is ultimately a revolutionary force. It was, metaphorically speaking, Uranus, the god representing revolution and erraticness and freedom itself, that was the father of Venus in a sense. And that says something about where Venus comes from. Her very nature can be erratic. Her very nature can be changeable. But her very nature is one that if we honor it, if we go with love, if we cultivate real, meaningful beauty, we just might find freedom within it. Because then it isn't about anyone else's expectations, but rather it is about us knowing that we are living from a place of emotion. And the genuineness of that radiates forward. It gives other people permission as well to feel what they do and to find healthy ways to express it. And along the way, we learn about ourselves and we find things within that we feel genuinely proud of. Now, how Venus in Cancer speaks to you in your sign depends on your sun, moon, and rising. Take all three into consideration, synthesize the information, make it unique to you, and lots more horoscopes are up right now over on my YouTube channel, Nadiya Shah, and over in the superstar space at thefutureismagical.com. Aries, love and the past become intimately tied for you at this time. And even though the first days of this transit might be hard, it might be that you're reconciling yourself with the past and what was hard and what really felt challenging before. Maybe some residual hurt or anger might be there, and yet you are going to move forward. And over the course of the coming weeks, it really is about not just making peace with your past, but understanding how right where you are right now, there is great love. New people you connect with, well, that just might be people who in some way share whatever you consider your background or where you come from. And those in established bonds will find home really is where the heart is. Taurus, Venus moving into a part of the sky for you that has to do with mind and synchronicity means that heart and mind are intimately tied. If you are connecting with new people, it really is about feeling like they're getting to know you, they're talking to you, or you're talking to them. That's going to be of special interest. And whether you're connecting with people online or in person, all of that feels just a little easier now. If you are already in a bond, it becomes that much easier to talk about things that otherwise might have felt challenging or difficult in a way that bonds the two of you together. Gemini, love and self-love are intimately connected for you now during the course of this larger transit of Venus in the sign of Cancer. The first days, they might be tough. You might be facing some difficult truths about choices that you made in the past that maybe today you no longer would. And that is something that you can absolutely celebrate. Those in established bonds might find themselves feeling especially generous with your partner. Maybe you feel you have to be. Remember, love and money might feel tied, but that's also where they shouldn't be tied, especially right out of the gate. And yet, in established bonds, there's more giving and sharing. And so you get to decide the right balance for you. Cancer, Venus moving into your sign makes you a magnet. You are just a being. You being you can attract all kinds of lovely things to you if you're open to meeting someone new. Yeah, the first few days of this transit are tough, but then things lighten up. They get a whole lot better in the weeks ahead. And you just being you attracts love to you that much more readily and easily. Now, for those of you in established bonds, you might find yourselves with a partner who's that much sweeter, that much nicer to get along with. You feel pampered. Leo, Venus moving into the sign just before yours is a lot more about preparation and creating space for a brand new chapter in love to find you. And that's right around the corner. The 25th of August is when Venus will move into your sign. And that's when you light up. You become a massive magnet. But right now, it is about, on the one hand, closing karmic ties, ending karmic chapters, whatever's happening in love. Either it is that you are with somebody and you're putting challenges behind you, or at least doing the work to do that, or there are things happening behind the scenes that you don't feel ready to tell other people just yet. If you and your partner find yourselves being so busy that you don't have time to connect that much more, well, it's only a temporary situation. Pretty soon the romance will thrive again. Virgo, friendship and love are intimately tied for you at this time. And it is, whether at social events, with a friend, through a friend, that love is able to thrive that much more readily. Those of you open to meeting someone new, yeah, it is. As you're out and about spending time with people you already know, that love is that much easier to show up for you. But if it is that you're in an established bond, it's doing social things together that bond the two of you that much closer. Even though this larger transit starts off difficult, so the two of you might not be on the same page in terms of who's a friend, who you want around, what events you want to attend, pretty soon that energy does move on, and instead we get sweetness, light, and a whole lot of fun. Libra, for love, you are going big picture. You are going for gold. And what that means is you're really thinking long-term, especially if it is that you're meeting new people now. And love and respect are going to be very tied for you in the weeks ahead. At first, as this transit begins, and especially if it is that you're open to meeting someone new, well, you might still have a sense of putting the past behind you where you felt you didn't get that respect. And yet, as we move forward, the energy gets lighter and it becomes that much easier to connect with people who really do have long-term potential. And in established bonds, it's about shared goals together, having a vision of where you're going that strengthens the bond. Scorpio, the international love is what calls you at this time, and being a lot more optimistic in the context of love and adventurous as well, might be inspired. For those of you who are open to meeting someone new, well, it's that much more likely you would connect with someone really different than what you've known before, maybe a really different background or a whole other perspective on life, religion, philosophy, and that expands your horizons in the process. Certain things, if you are meeting them in the first days of this transit, well, it might be a bit of a deal breaker, but for all of that, you navigate forward. And there is this sense of curiosity and openness that might just find you. For those of you in established bonds, it's a lot more about planning an adventure together, doing new things in new places that you haven't before to strengthen the bond. Sagittarius, in the context of love, it is about profound bonding and authentic connections with others. The superficial just isn't going to cut it. Now, the first days of this transit, well, it just might feel as if you're having to really look deeply at yourself, at the stuff that's hurt you, but it really is for the intention of feeling it and letting it go, being honest with yourself, acknowledging the pain so that now you can move forward, feeling renewed and open to something authentic. Those of you in established bonds, well, the overall trend of this energy is that it could be a boost for your partner's income, which indirectly ends up benefiting you. But it might not feel like that in the first days, just know that. But for all of that, this can also be a greater sense of intimacy and sharing that bonds the two of you together. Capricorn, Venus moving into your opposite sign is all about partnerships and wanting that genuine sense of sharing. If you're open to meeting someone new, attracting someone with real long-term potential becomes that much more likely. But it's also that there's a sweetness with which you're able to connect with others that really sets you up for something that could be moving in the direction of partnership and not just for lightness and fun necessarily. Now, outside of that, if it is that you are in an established bond, your partner might feel that much sweeter and nicer to get along with now, and that becomes part of helping to nurture the love you share. Aquarius, this is a part of the sky for you that Venus is moving into that I like to call the proof is in the pudding part of the sky. It really is in the details that love is strengthened or reveals itself to maybe not be there as well. Romances in the office in the first days of this transit, be very careful of that. Things get super messy, super awkward really quickly. But for all of that, where it is that there are places that you frequent every day, places you go for your sense of well-being and your health, well, love connections can be made. If it is that you are in an established bond, well, it is by doing more of those regular routine things together that you strengthen the love. Pisces, romance, flirtation, and what the heart wants. Now, a flirtation might really feel off to you or wrong or make you feel uncomfortable, I'm so sorry to say, in the first days of the transit. But after that, this energy gets so much better, so much easier, and you are getting your flirt on. You are meeting new people and really enjoying the process itself, which makes love that much more likely. If it is that you are in an established bond, it's about reuniting that sense of heart connection with your partner and that sense of play, that sense of fun that ends up nurturing the love you have. Well, thank you for watching. It'll be a great week, a great transit. Enjoy.